Xiong'an New Area's first commercial complex, the Outlet Mall, opened on December 30th, 2023. Located at the heart of Xiong'an CBD, it offers everything from jewelry and clothing to home appliances. However, 9 months after opening, the mall remains empty. Many stores are vacant and apart from the staff, not a single customer can be seen. The entire mall is silent.
Look at all these shops. There's hardly anyone around. Most of the businesses here sell food and it's really tough. If you sell cheap, I'll sell even cheaper. The competition is intense. I'm currently at the outlet mall in Xiong'an New Area, Hebei. Take a look. It's a clean city, newly built, but not many people are here. During the May Day holiday, it was much busier. They even set up a big plaza with a stage for performances. A lot of people from Beijing came to visit, but now it's really quiet. There's a food court here, a Mixue ice cream store ahead, and right in front is the supermarket. Honestly, I feel bad for the restaurant owners and shopkeepers here. There's not much foot traffic and hardly anyone eating inside. Business is getting tougher and tougher, and it's really hard to make a living. They probably can't even make enough to cover the rent.
During the day, the outlet mall is quiet and empty. When night falls, it's the same story, no people. On September 27th, a video was uploaded to TikTok in China showing a brightly lit commercial street in Xiong'an. Yet row after row of storefronts stood vacant. There were no citizens out shopping.
晚上的雄安的奥特莱斯看起来人也不是很多，主要是雄安这个周边的入住率目前还不是很高，看对面的小区入住率大概有1到3成左右。
On August 28th, a drone video captured Xiong'an's Zhongguancun Street. The 4-lane avenue was wide and straight, flanked by tall buildings and decorative streetlights, but there were only a few vehicles and even fewer pedestrians. The city seemed lifeless. On September 28th, a video from Xiong'an High-Speed Rail Station showed a massive and empty hall covering 20,000 square meters. The station, with its modern facilities, was built to handle large crowds. However, it stood empty. The grand architecture, advanced equipment, and intricate decorations, including the bronze Millennium Wheel, symbolized the city's ambitions, yet there were no people. A person remarked that the eerie silence at Xiong'an Station made the place feel unsettling. At Xiong'an High-Speed Rail Station, you can see there are barely any people. Last night it was the same, pitch dark outside. Locals say the surrounding buildings have made very little progress in the past 2 years. The 4 universities led by China University of Geosciences have only put up their gates. Locals say it's been 2 years, but there's no construction, just the gates. Yet people still come here to check it out. What does Xiong'an represent? You could say it stands for ambition or desire. But that desire is clearly diminishing now. As a Didi driver put it, I think he's spot on. China is basically like a giant real estate company. Now, because of cash flow issues, everything is in a semi-halted state. Xiong'an's high-speed rail station was completed in December 2020. It's as large as 6 Beijing railway stations and is the biggest high-speed rail station in China. The project cost more than 460 billion yuan and covers an area of 475,000 square meters. To put it in perspective, that's the size of 66 football fields. The station has 5 floors. 3 above ground and 2 underground. Right now, only the first and second floors are open. Once fully operational, it can handle tens of thousands of passengers per day, with an annual traffic capacity of up to 10 million people. This is enough to meet the needs of Xiong'an New Area and all of Hebei province. However, in reality, only a few hundred people pass through the station each day. It's hard to imagine the massive scale and staggering investment in Xiong'an High-Speed Rail Station. The funds used could have built dozens of regular stations. This raises the question, why build such a large station? And is this enormous investment truly worth it? Experts say this is a huge waste of resources. They believe it's another vanity project by the CCP. With China's population declining, they question if such a large station will ever be fully used. The CCP invested heavily in Xiong'an New Area, calling it a millennium project. It's seen as a personal project of President Xi Jinping. Much like pandemic control, Xi was involved in every step of Xiong'an's creation. He described Xiong'an as a legacy for future generations. Xiong'an is located in Hebei province, about 130 kilometers from both Beijing and Tianjin. The new area includes three counties: Xiang County, Rongcheng County, and Anxin County. It covers an initial area of 100 square kilometers with plans to expand to around 2,000 square kilometers. What does 2,000 square kilometers look like? Beijing's 6th Ring Road area is about 2,260 square kilometers, and the world's largest metropolitan area, Tokyo, covers 2,100 square kilometers. Xiong'an New Area will be larger than both Shanghai's Pudong New Area, which is 1,210 square kilometers, and Shenzhen's Special Economic Zone at nearly 2,000 square kilometers. Pro-government scholars argue that Xiong'an New Area is not meant to be a backyard for Beijing. Instead, they claim it has ambitious and clear economic development goals and plans. They say Xi Jinping intends for Xiong'an to be a test ground for his Millennium Project. The area is set to surpass both the Pudong New Area, which was developed under Jiang Zemin, and Shenzhen, which was planned by Deng Xiaoping. Xiong'an is Xi Jinping's flagship initiative. Since it was announced on April 1st, 2017, Xiong'an New Area has been under development for 7 years, and the city's initial shape has started to emerge. Although it's often described as sparsely populated, state media continues to heavily promote it. The promotional photos released by official outlets show a lifeless sub-capital. In April of this year, CCTV reported that Xiong'an is growing rapidly as a high-level, modern city. So far, more than 380 key projects have been completed with a total investment of over 670 billion yuan. More than 200 state-owned enterprises have established offices in the area. The city has built roads, underground utility tunnels, and cloud-based smart services. Some Chinese citizens who visited Xiong'an describe it as a post-apocalyptic tourist attraction. A person who filmed the city streets said, "Walking through Xiong'an feels like wandering through an empty city. It's like a glimpse of what the world would look like after the human race is wiped out." They added, "There's a big problem with this place. Most of this huge city is empty, but to be honest, the sanitation and landscaping are well done and the infrastructure is beautiful. I don't know who paid for all of this, but it's sad. Look, there are only 2 lights on in that entire building. The rest are all dark. I really don't get it. Why build all of this if there's no one here?" They went on to compare it to the sci-fi movie I Am Legend, saying, "It's like Will Smith's character, the last human on Earth. This place could really be a tourist attraction. I'm not joking." But they continued, "What kind of mindset would you need to work here? I honestly can't say. The entire building is empty from the first floor to the top." Australian historian Li Yuanhua said, "The public has exposed the reality. Xiong'an is a ghost town. The government says hundreds of buildings have been built, but are they even operational? Is there anyone living there? There's nobody in charge." However, Xiong'an sits in the lowest part of the North China Plain, like the bottom of a basin. After 2017, the largest lake in the area, Bayangdian, was portrayed as a future scenic spot for Xiong'an. Some Chinese scholars have warned that if the ground isn't elevated, residents in the future will feel as though they're living under a flood waiting to happen. Li Yuanhua said, quote, "To put it simply, this is a project Xi Jinping rushed into. Is Xiong'an a suitable place to build a city? It's next to Bayangdian, a low-lying area that used to be a flood zone. If you build a modern city in a flood zone, even a small amount of rain could flood the area." Unquote. It's worth noting that, despite the CCP's promise to turn Xiong'an New Area into a political and economic center, the relocation of Xiong'an has faced unprecedented resistance, both within and outside the CCP. This shows how deeply unpopular the policy is, and many officials are quietly mocking Xi's project. Xiong'an New Area was originally designed to ease the pressure on Beijing. The plan was to move government institutions, corporate headquarters, financial institutions, universities, and research institutes out of the capital. All were expected to relocate without exception. Beijing's goal was to move 5 million people to Xiong'an. In related discussions on Weibo, many people expressed doubt, with some saying ordinary citizens simply don't want to go. Others commented, "Forcing millions of people to relocate against their will is nothing short of tyranny. It's enough to be recorded in history. It's hard to believe such tyranny is still happening in the 21st century." As of now, Xiong'an's permanent population stands at 1.2 million. To attract more people, the government is offering the Xiong Talent Card, which provides benefits such as access to education, healthcare, housing, and vehicle registration perks. In terms of salaries, Xiong'an has a special post, special salary policy. In simple terms, eligible talent can receive bonuses of 50 to 100%, meaning they can earn double their salary. Additional financial incentives are outlined in the 16 talent policies, offering support for recent graduates and highly skilled professionals. In June, 5 universities, including Beijing Institute of Technology and Beijing Language and Culture University, announced plans to build campuses in Xiong'an. So far, 9 universities based in Beijing have either begun construction or are planning to establish campuses there. A professor from a university slated for relocation expressed concerns. How will the new schools in Xiong'an perform? What will the quality of the hospitals and doctors be? There are too many unknowns. He added that many of his middle-aged colleagues prefer to stay in Beijing, seeking stability. A female student from Beijing said many universities have been instructed to build campuses in Xiong'an, but teachers and students are not quite interested. She noted, "The city is well built, but no one wants to go there. Recently, I heard that even universities from Shijiazhuang are being moved there, but no one I know is eager to go. You can't make a city thrive just by issuing government orders." On September 23, 2024, the headquarters building of China's Satellite Network Group was officially completed in Xiong'an. Construction began in June 2022 and took 2 years and 3 months to finish. An employee from China's Satellite Network Group revealed that the company expects to move its operations to Xiong'an by 2025. Although the relocation plans have not yet been fully announced, the employee has already started looking for housing in Xiong'an. It's understood that among the first 4 state-owned enterprises to build headquarters in Xiong'an, China's Satellite Network Group is likely to be the first to officially move in, followed closely by China Huanan Group. By the end of June this year, Sinochem Group had completed the main structure of its headquarters, and China Mineral Resources Group has finalized its site selection and is about to start construction. However, some scholars predict that many companies like China's Satellite Network and Sinochem Group are only symbolically setting up headquarters in Xiong'an under government orders and won't engage in substantial business there. Mr. Li, a scholar from Hebei currently living in the US, said, "State-owned enterprises are smart. Large companies like China National Chemical Corporation find it much more convenient to operate in Beijing, close to government ministries. China is a centralized system and no one wants to leave Beijing where power and resources are concentrated. Beijing is also a cultural, educational, and medical hub. If employees move away from Beijing, they'll lose access to all these benefits. Who would want to take their children out of a good school in Beijing and move them to a less established one elsewhere?" Unquote. So when the government tries to move these state-owned enterprises out of Beijing to ease the capital's burden, the companies are very reluctant. If the government pushes them, they'll move a little. If the pressure eases, they'll move right back. After all these years, have any state-owned enterprises truly relocated to Xiong'an? No. Li believes Xiong'an New Area is likely to end up as an unfinished project. He gave 3 reasons for this. First, China's economy is in decline, and the government's financial resources are drying up. Xiong'an's construction relies on government funding, and eventually that money will run out. Second, this type of non-market-driven development is destined to lack vitality. Xi Jinping isn't interested in sharing benefits with the people or the market. He wants to control everything, but if he keeps everything for himself, no one else will want to participate. Have any foreign or private companies moved to Xiong'an? No, only state-owned enterprises are reluctantly following orders. Third, Xiong'an's location isn't ideal. Its transportation network is underdeveloped and the city is built in a low-lying area. If a flood like the one in 1963 were to happen again, the entire city could be submerged. Even its water resources are poor and more polluted than Beijing's. Some believe Xiong'an is facing a dilemma. Without political backing and new resources, the massive initial investment will turn into a gigantic unfinished project. But if more resources are poured in, Xiong'an could become a money pit. Either way, if Xiong'an fails to relieve the pressure on Beijing, Xi Jinping's political dignity will face an unprecedented challenge.